Hey everyone, Tom Bowman here with Investors Portfolio Services. And if you've recently left your company, or you're about to, one of the most common questions you're going to ask yourself is, what should I do with this 401k that I've been saving to while employed here? Should you leave it where it's at? Should you roll it into the new employer's 401k if they offer one? Or do you move it into what's called an individual retirement account or an IRA? Now, there is a fourth option, although rarely you'll ever see anyone suggest it, which is you can take that money out as cash, but if you're under age 59 and a half, that will include a 10% penalty. Taking that money as cash is not an advisable option. So while there are 4 different options, we're going to talk today about the first 3 because they are the best 3 options really for you to choose from. So the first and easiest option to you is you can leave it right where it's at. The biggest benefit to this option is you don't have to do anything. However, some of the downsides include losing flexibility, being limited to the investment options that your previous employer chose, and being subject to any time that they want to change their 401k provider. Considering you're no longer with the company, you won't have the internal resources to help you answer any questions along the way. Option 2 is probably a bit better than option 1, although requires a little bit of work as well, is you could roll that into your new employer's 401k. Now, this assumes that you have that ability, meaning it assumes you have a 401k that you are allowed into at the new company, and it assumes that it's a low-cost 401k option. Not all 401ks have low fees, and it assumes you like or the investment lineup is fine for what you're trying to accomplish. Again, it's easy because it consolidates everything into one plan, but you are still limited to your investment choices, and you are still subject to at least the current company's decision of whether or not they change who that 401k provider is in the future. The third option is you could roll that old 401k into an individual retirement account or an IRA. This option is going to give you the most flexibility. You gain access to virtually unlimited investment choices, lower cost funds, potentially, depending on the 401k plan that you're provided, and the ability to control where you invest that money. For instance, you may choose Fidelity or Schwab or Vanguard as your custodian, but you decide when to move that account and you decide what to invest in. Now, this happens as a direct rollover to that new custodian. This is not a taxable event, whether you go from 401k to IRA or 401k to 401k. You will have a tax form that you receive in January that just tells the IRS the funds have moved. However, you'll notice if you look at the code in the tax form that it was a tax-free rollover. But overall, this is not a taxable event, and there's no penalties as long as you are doing it properly. You can do all of this yourself by opening an IRA at one of the major custodians and doing a trustee-to-trustee transfer. A common misconception is that it costs money to do a rollover into an IRA. While oftentimes when you decide to work with a financial advisor, there will be a fee to work with that financial advisor. You can roll into an IRA, open up your investment universe, and control that account without asking for help to do so. Managing that account is a decision you'll have to make for yourself. Arguably, though, the decision whether to have an advisor help you with rebalancing of the investments, the administrative process of actually conducting that rollover, the financial planning to help make sure that you're putting money in the right account and putting enough money in to save for your financial goals, whether that be retirement or other near-term goals, or whether that be tax-efficient strategies that you're looking for outside of your retirement plan at work. The decision whether to work with someone to help you manage your investments is separate from which account you go to. Now, the one positive to moving money from 401k to 401k would be consolidation, and sometimes the lack of options is seen as a positive. If you're someone who's not looking for investment advice, you don't mind the 401k provider changing on you, but you want a curated lineup that's simple, that could be one reason to stick to the 401k as opposed to going for the IRA. So if you're leaving a company or you're retiring soon, take some time to understand these rollover options before you make any decisions. Whether you want to handle it yourself or you want professional guidance, you want to make sure you take the proper steps to keep your retirement plans on track. If you'd like to discuss your options in more detail, feel free to set up a quick call with me in the booking link below. I'm Tom Bowman with Investors Portfolio Services, and thanks for watching.